Now, very, very important. How do marine spirits gain entrance into a person's life? First of all, before I go there, let me have your attention. You know, I had a question for many, many years that now I understand, but didn't understand back then. My wife and I have been on this island for 33 years. And one thing was very, very clear from the moment we got to this island, even now. As a matter of fact, it's worse now. We have seen good, moral people come from around the country of Belize, running a wonderful family, having an okay marriage, and then they come to the island that is surrounded by the marine kingdom, and all of a sudden, after a few months, their marriage is problematic. Long story short, after 33 years of living for this island, my wife and I have observed that thousands of innocent people that moved to this island have divorced, separated, and living in different relationships, one after the other, and they do not even know why. If they were back home inland, it would never have happened. But because they came where the marine kingdom is in full operation, this happens. Now, how do marine spirits gain entrance to a person's life? Number one, any breach of purpose for your God-given sensuality or sexuality is the primary altar of initiation. What does that mean? Anything you do with your body that involves your sensuality and sex that God did not ordain is an open door, whether you knew it or not, for marine spirits to enter your life. Example, any kind of sex outside of marriage. You opened the door to marine spirits. Sex in dreams with spiritual spouse. Any person ever having dreams and having sex in their dreams with people you don't know, and you can't remember your dream, or it can even be with your husband or your wife in your dream. These are all spiritual spouses. Why do I say that? Think about this. Why would God give you a dream with your husband or your wife having sex with you in the dream when you have them real time? Are you with me? Wouldn't it be foolish for God to give you a dream of your spouse having sex with you in your dream when you have your husband that can have sex with you real time? These are all marine spirits. And if anyone has ever troubled with spiritual spouse, the door has been opened to marine spirits in your soul, in your body. Molestation. If you've been molested as a child growing up, in any way, the door was open to marine spirits. Then you have pornography. The moment you get involved with pornography, the door for the marine spirits is opened and they come in. Then you have lust. Who on this earth has not lusted? I wonder. Lust. Whenever a person lusts, the door is open for the spirits from the marine kingdom to come in. And then you have masturbation. I wonder who has never done that. Is there a halo spinning around people's heads? Who has never masturbated. Hey, the rubber is touching the road. I'm not insulting anyone, but I'm just telling you reality. I want to let you into a secret that maybe nobody has ever taught you before. In Genesis chapter 38 and verse 9, listen to an account. But Onan was not willing to have a child who would not be his heir. In Bible times, when the brother of an Israelite died, the brother was supposed to take the wife as his own in order for the wife to have a child to bear the name of his brother who died. That was the culture back then. Onan, the living brother of the brother who died, was given the wife of his brother who died. And Onan despised the fact of having sexual intercourse with his brother's wife to have a child, and it would not be his own heir. It would be called after his brother. So here's what Onan did. Listen. Onan was not willing to have a child who would not be his own heir. So whenever he had intercourse with his brother's wife, he spilled the semen on the ground. This prevented her from having a child. Ooh, there are key things in here you must understand. It says, and the thing which he did displeased the Lord, and the Lord killed him. Why did God kill him? Is God an unjust God, an unfair God? Well, you know, scholars can have debate, pastors can have debate, but I want to tell you why spilling the semen outside of a woman's womb is wrong. It's not the sin that takes you to hell, but it's the sin that opens the door to the marine kingdom. Here is why it's wrong. Because every time the secretion from a woman's vagina is excreted without a husband, and every time a husband's semen is spilled outside of a woman, that semen is seed. It's what carries life. The woman carries egg. And when that seed falls to the ground, when that secretion falls out, and please be quiet. When that happens, life is spilled out without purpose. Now here is why the devil enjoys this. Because every time people masturbate and semen is spilled outside and the secretion of a woman is spilled outside, the devil, demons take these in the spiritual and they create new demonic life. Therefore, because of the sexual perversion, new demon life is given in the spirit world. Onan did this, and God was mad with him. People do not know these things, and we just think it's a natural part of life. But what we do not know is that we're building the kingdom of darkness. We're building the marine kingdom. How else does marine spirits enter people? Through the spittle from kissing outside of marriage. Let me ask you this question. Don't blush and don't rush to get out. Did you know the person you kissed years ago? You might say, yeah, I did. He or she went to school with me. Fine and dandy. You did not know the devils they were carrying. You did not know the demons that were inside of them. And every time you kissed and you received from that spittle, the marine kingdom was back and forth. Then we talk about another way that the marine spirits enter people? Through genital fondling. Doing anything that arouses your sensuality outside of marriage is the altar of initiation for the marine kingdom. What does that mean? It's the prime place where doors are open for marine spirits to come in. Number two, how else do marine spirits come inside of people? Using some beauty products with witchcraft curses can be an altar of initiation. And I think I mentioned this in witchcraft a long time ago. Not every beauty product carries it, but you would be naive to think that some of these factories that create products today actually are witches and warlocks that own them. And they put curses on these products. And the moment you use the products, it's an initiation for the marine kingdom. Why the marine kingdom? Because the marine Jezebel is all about fashion. It's all about beauty and fashion. Why do you think on islands, on coastal areas, you have half-naked people walking around? How come you don't see that inland? How come you don't see that where there's all land? People are fully clothed. Why when you go to islands? Why when you go to coastal areas, people are half naked? Because the marine Jezebel is all about fashion and nakedness. Are you with me so far? Another way, the marine spirit of Jezebel drives the fashion craze in the world today. No matter what clothes comes out. First it used to be, listen carefully. First it used to be, the more cloth the clothing uses, the more expensive it is. Now, the less cloth used, it's more expensive. Have you realized that? Now you don't need to use a maxi falda anymore. You get a mini falda and your whole salary goes on it. Marine spirits. Number three, generational curses from ancestors who raised altars to marine spirits. If your family member, and you might not know this because you weren't there, but if your bloodline, there were family members that actually raised altars to marine spirits, then they flow into you at birth. Number four, by personally, willfully inviting them in to you verbally. Signs of possible marine spirits in your life. Frequent, unclean, filthy, lustful, sexual thoughts. Marine spirit. Singleness against your will. Do you know how many people are now in their middle age, never had a relationship, wanted a relationship, never was able to get married? Marine spirits. Desiring married men or women. It's unnatural. And yet there are many people in the world today that would prefer a married man or a married woman. Marine spirits. Desiring multiple partners. Marine spirits. Promiscuity. Marine spirits. Wet dreams. And it's not that a cup of water spilled on you. Marine spirits. Dreams of sex in your sleep. Marine spirits. Spiritual spouse. Marine spirits. Infertility, not being able to have a child. Marine spirits. Uncontrollable sexual desires. Marine spirits. Masturbation, whether married or unmarried. You know, married people still do masturbate. Marine spirits. Suicidal thoughts. Marine spirits. Bad odor in your mouth. And it's not that you just woke up. Marine spirits. Always losing things jewelry, or needed things. Marine spirits. Dream of chasing rivers, dirty waters, dreaming of swimming in rivers, oceans. Marine spirits. Dreaming of eating by a river. Marine spirits. Dreaming of frogs or snakes. Marine spirits. Dreaming of breastfeeding. Marine spirits. Excessive pride. Marine spirits. And now lastly and most importantly, how to be free from marine spirits. Because thank God, there is freedom. Thank God, there is freedom. Number one, and very important, to be freed from marine spirits, you must come out of the dark and confess their reality in your life. You know, a lot of people trouble with these spirits, and they're ashamed and afraid to talk about it because they believe or think that people will think that they are crazy. And you know what? For the most part, people will think you're crazy because it's not a natural thing, it's a spiritual thing. But if you will ever be freed from marine spirits, you've got to come out of the dark no matter what people think and what people say. I trouble with these things and I need to be freed. Number two, renounce any personal willful involvement pertaining to your sensuality, of marriage, porn, masturbation, fondling, lust, sex. You must renounce it and forsake it. Number three, renounce bloodline sexual curses. Number four, rededicate your body, your mind, your emotions, and your will to the Lord as His temple and altar. And number five, yield to deliverance from these marine spirits.